with what happens when maybe proud parents who have internet access go a little bit too far. Sweet Lucan Ellis joining me now as the Bears' second-year wide receiver. Rome Odunze is having to answer some questions about his dad, taking out some frustration after the last game online. Hey, Lou.
Hi, Anita. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm wondering if Rome Odunze is doing okay. These were reposts, to be exact. Let me say that. But one said Rome should be traded to a team that will actually throw to him. And another one said he should be seeing at least 10 targets per game. Talk about how Rome actually responded to this.
Well, I think Rome handled it perfectly yesterday with the media in front of his locker. And he said, listen, it's my dad. I still love him. And he's entitled to his own opinion and his voice. And we talked about it. And frankly, it's none of your business what was discussed between my dad and I. But I'm happy here as a member of the Bears. And we're going to continue to play football. And I think he handled it, like I said, as well as one could. It's his dad. Listen, I'll never forget. I don't know if you remember, there was a guy named Robert Feeder here in Chicago who wrote a radio TV column. And he wrote something that my mom, when she was alive, did not care for. And my mom wrote him a letter without me knowing about it. And I was embarrassed.
Oh, my goodness.
So I get it. Rome, while not admitting that he was embarrassed, I'm sure talked to his dad and said, hey, listen, let me fight my own battles. It's my career. But he's dad. And he's been following Rome's career throughout, going back to where he grew up in, obviously Las Vegas and then played at Washington. So Rome Odunze has nothing to complain about. Let's get that out on the table right away. No one on the Bears has been targeted more than Rome Odunze. No one has more catches than Rome Odunze. No one has more receiving yards than Rome Odunze. So he has been given his opportunities, and guess what? There's been a few balls that Rome Odunze should have caught that he didn't, that he dropped. Even balls that maybe weren't perfectly thrown. He was a 9th pick in the draft. He should still make those catches. So I understand what Rome is going through personally, because I've dealt with it myself with a parent, and I also feel that Rome Odunze handled it the right way, wants to remain with the Bears. I hope he talked to his teammates. I'm sure he talked to his friend Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and told them, don't worry about Dad. He's entitled to say or tweet whatever he wants.
Yeah, he is the captain of the Rome Odunze fan club. We totally get it. And I do remember Feeder and some issues there as well. So what parent would not want their kid to be the undisputed star of everything? Rome did get a little banged up recently. Is he okay for this weekend's game?
Who is that again?
Rome did get a little banged up.
Yeah.
Is he okay for this weekend's game?
He and DJ Moore practiced yesterday in a limited fashion. We're waiting for the injury report today, but the expectation is both will be out there against the Giants.
Okay, so the Bears are 5-3, better than a lot of people thought that they would be when the season at least first started. So how are they looking? How are they stacking up in the NFC North?
Well, they have to stack up wins, that's for sure. Right now, they're in second place. They're tied with the Lions, right behind the Packers. The Lions would win the tiebreaker because Detroit blew their doors off in Game 2 of the season in Detroit. But the NFC North stacking up as expected. Teams on top of each other. Green Bay 5-2-1. Detroit 5-3. Bears 5-3. Minnesota right behind at 4-4. Coming off a win at Detroit. Packers lay an egg at home against Carolina, proving that even on its best day, the best team arguably in the division could have a bad day. I'm excited for the second half of the season, Anita. Bears' toughest part of their schedule will take place in 6 of the last 8 weeks.
Ooh.
They've got Philadelphia, the number 1 seed in the NFC as we speak. The Packers twice, the number 4 seed in the NFC. San Francisco and Detroit, and at Minnesota next week, and home against Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. Man, they have got a murderer's row schedule. That's why this game is pivotal against the Giants. They need to stack up wins against teams they should beat. And the 2-7 Giants are a team the Bears should beat.
Ooh, wow, wow, wow. When you put it, and you really look at who they have to play in these, what you said, 6 of 8 weeks, that's a lot. But let's talk about the Giants specifically. So what are you thinking for this game? When we're marching into this game, how do you think it's going to go?
Well, I'm thinking that the Bears need to run the football. And again, weather could potentially be a factor in this game. Our great Mike Kaplan told me this morning that we could have 20-plus mile-per-hour winds, which would obviously affect the offensive game plans for both sides. I'm not worried about snow, not worried about rain. Wind, I am worried about. But the Bears are coming off their best rushing effort of the season when they ran for, 270, 280 in that Bengals game. Kyle Monangai, the 7th-round pick, the rookie, was terrific, ran for 176 against the Bengals. DeAndre Swift is coming back. He's healthy. So the Bears' run game against the Giants' run defense, in my opinion, is the key. The Giants' run defense, second worst in the NFL. The worst, Cincinnati's that we saw last week. So the Bears should be able to run the football effectively against this Giants run defense, and I'm expecting a big day from Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift. Don't write off Swift. Before he got hurt, before he was dealing with the bad groin, he had 2 big games against the Saints and the Commanders. My guess is Swift comes back anxious and hungry to prove that he's still the number 1 back.
Yeah, I hope that he wasn't over there like, yeah, I'm ready to go, before he actually was. Watching Monangai, he was on fire.
Everyone loved Kyle Monangai, and he was given the opportunity, and he took advantage of that opportunity. So credit goes to the rookie, who was solid, who bounced off tacklers, would-be tacklers, and had a career day. But I could see the carries going 50-50, half for Swift, half for Monangai, and if we hit the second half and one player is hot, then I think you have to ride the hot hand.
Yeah, mix it up a little. So what did you think about the Bears' trade for a defensive end this week? One, it seemed like it was needed, and he is a former first-round pick.
Yeah, he is a former first-round pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He played well in Tampa Bay. He had 15 sacks in 4 seasons, or maybe it was 16 sacks. Exactly, I don't remember how many Joe Tryon-Shoyinka had, but he really struggled in Cleveland this season. Signed as a free agent with the Browns, couldn't get on the football field. Only played 31 defensive snaps. Now, he was playing behind Myles Garrett, but typically you see a guy, part of a rotation, get 15, 20 snaps a game. He didn't sniff the field. So this is a big opportunity for him, for Tryon-Shoyinka, to basically save his career here in the final 9 games of this season.
Yeah, what grade would you give them on the trade deadline?
For me personally, I did not want to see Ryan Poles mortgage the future. So I'm going to give him a solid B.
Okay.
And most of that grade is because they didn't go out and give away a second or a third round pick for a pass rusher. I don't think the Bears are a Super Bowl team today. I think they're building their way that way. This is the first season for their new head coach, for their new scheme with Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen and Declan Doyle, the coordinators. So I didn't expect this team, to get to Santa Clara in February, and I would hate to see them trade away second and third round picks. For example, Trey Hendrickson, the fine pass rusher of the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati wanted a second or first round pick for a guy whose contract ends at the end of the season and is 31 years old. Well, that's where the cost was for pass rushers. I mean, by all means, the Bears weren't the only team looking for a pass rusher out there. The Bears aren't the only team out there looking for secondary help because of all the injuries they've suffered with their defensive backs. So I give them a solid B for not pulling the trigger, going out, making a minor deal, getting another body on the defensive line because they've lost a number of defensive linemen to injury, and they put themselves in a good position for the final 9 games.
Is the pass rush, you mentioned it, is it what is most concerning to you at this point in the season for the team?
It's a problem. It's a problem. They haven't gotten to the quarterback enough, and you need to get to the quarterback to help a defensive secondary that's beat up. So with no Kyler Gordon, with no Jalen Johnson, with Josh Blackwell going through injuries, TJ Edwards may not play on Sunday, the fine middle linebacker. You need to get pressure on the quarterback, or he's going to pick apart your secondary. And the Bears aren't working with their two best defensive backs right now because of injury.
Okay, what is, maybe to flip that, what's the most encouraging sign to you right now?
The fact that they're 5-3 and they believe in themselves. They believe that they can beat any team out there. They believe, even in the fourth quarter when they're losing, that they can come back and win because of their quarterback. They believe that even with 30, 40 seconds left to play in a game, that they can march downfield and have their quarterback throw a missile to their tight end, who's so big and strong that can have two defensive backs bounce off him, and he can still beat him into the end zone with no timeouts left. They believe. That's what's most impressive.
Oh, belief is really important here. Let me circle back as I get ready to let you go to where we started. And I want to ask you about like social media firestorms, because it seems like we have at least one each year concerning one of the players. These are young men, you know, their families are online. Like for you and I, like our families, our parents weren't on social media. But do you think it's really about the post itself when we end up in these situations, or is it more so like the expectations of the fans and even maybe possibly the ownership group, you know, their expectations over public figures?
Well, the expectations are always greater than one can achieve, in my opinion. And in this case, we're dealing with a guy who was drafted in the first round with the 9th pick in the draft, and much is expected out of Rome Odunze. We also are seeing parents of players of Odunze's stature, of Caleb Williams' stature. Remember, Caleb's dad was very outspoken on social media as well, in stating that he didn't want the Bears to pick him because he felt Chicago was where quarterbacks come to die. Listen, a number of parents are there every step of the way for the growth of their child in their career, whether it's with them in, you know, Pee-wee football, and then in high school football, to the college ranks, and then when they get drafted, and then in the NFL. So I appreciate the concern of Caleb Williams' dad and Rome Odunze's dad. All I ask is, if he wasn't getting thrown the football, then I get it. I really do. But in this case, he's been getting thrown the football. And Ben Johnson said, he said a few weeks ago, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, that he can't sleep at night because he worries about how he's going to feed all his playmakers. How is he going to call enough plays that keeps all his playmakers happy, that makes all his playmakers feel like they're getting their chance at the football? Because I look at each of these players, Anita, as a corporation. And if you don't get the playmakers the football, and they don't have the opportunity to rack up catches for yards and touchdowns, at the end of the season, when they're on the open market, if they're out of contract and they're looking for a new team to make them a huge contract offer, the numbers aren't there because they didn't get thrown the football, then they have something to complain about. In Rome's case, he's gotten thrown the football more than anyone on the team. If anyone has a gripe, it's a DJ Moore. All right? Burton's barely been out there on the football field. Colston Loveland wasn't even being used until the last game. They have reasons to complain, not Rome.
DJ Moore's paycheck should be softening that blow.
Well, yeah, for $100 million plus. Still, he's a competitor. I mean, the one thing with DJ Moore that I love is he threw himself on the football field when he was really severely hurt, to the point that he had to go to the hospital after the game. All right, he was still out there playing because he's got ego, because he respects the game, he respects his teammates. So even though DJ's got the more, the guy wants to be out there so he can live up to the contract.
Yeah, I get it. Lou, we appreciate you as always, man. We call on Lou like time and time again. You always come through, man. We appreciate it.